All right, going live in three, two, one. This is the Anna Hummel Factor. Let's see. I think we're at episode number 8. I believe this is number 8. Yes, I forgot which one we're on. Right. So yeah,
Nice.
yes. So how's everything going for you this evening? For us, it's evening. Could be anywhere else in the world, so we don't know where you are. But yes, for this.
Yeah. Things are really, really good. I'm really excited for this weekend actually because my best friend from California, last minute, aka or not aka, but literally last night decided to book a flight out to come see me and have some fun. So I'm really excited about that. I haven't seen. Well, I saw her when I was in when I was in San Diego at home in December, but I'm more excited for her, I think, than I am for myself because she hasn't been out in about a year and a half. So I'm
Hmm.
excited to show her a good time.
The been out as far as like she's been cooped up or
Well, she had a procedure done in November of 2019, and by the time she was pretty much recovered and good to go, it was about March of 2020, and then the pandemic hit, and then she was homebound for another year and some change. So this is probably the first time in about a year and a half that she's like been out with friends like freely. In Florida, we really didn't. I don't want to say we didn't experience the pandemic, but it was very light in terms of the restrictions. So she's been in Southern California, so it was pretty strict. But she's vaccinated. I had it last month, and I obviously have some antibodies, so she's feeling confident that she'll be safe and everything. But I'm really excited to show her a good time. So
what
that's
what
kind of the new news. Hmm?
what would a good time entail? Just curious.
Um, it's one of those things where it's like once I realized she was coming, I was like, oh shit, I gotta like have stuff to do, because like with me, I'm like, oh, maybe I'll go to the beach or maybe I'll go here, go for a run or do this. But when she's visiting, I gotta kind of have like some sort of plan of action. So my buddy is house sitting for a friend who has like a pool, so we'll probably head over there. We'll probably go hang out in Tampa. I got a good friend in Tampa. We can go hang out with her. In St. Petersburg, it's going to be beautiful this weekend. So I'm planning on. I don't think she's ever done electric scooters, so I was thinking about taking her down. There's like a nice pier and like a really pretty downtown harbor area. So I was thinking I'd take her on some electric scooter. I call it scoot scooting. So we'll go scoot scooting and stuff, which is really fun. They go pretty. I mean, they go up to probably like 15 miles an hour. So you can kind of get some speed on those things. I don't think she's ever done that before, so it should be a good time.
So
But we'll just. I think as long as I keep her in the sun and close to water, she'll be fine.
those require licenses to drive or operate?
No, all you need is like a card, a debit card, credit card that to link to the account, and I think you have to actually yes, I think you have to show a license that you're 18 and over, but
Hmm.
not a driver's license.
Okay.
So an
The
identification showing that you're at least 18 years of
I'm
age.
just I'm just curious. What kind of I mean, these are the kind of scooters that you sit on, or the ones that you stand on. I don't
There's
know.
actually both, but I've never been on the ones where you sit on them. So it's just like kind of like those. Do you remember those? I don't know. I know you're a little bit older than me, but I used to have like those razors where they were like it was like a manual, like a kick scooter, and it's shaped kind of like that. Obviously bigger, and then obviously has a motor. So you like pedal once or twice to get started, and then there's like a brake and an accelerator, and then you can
Like a
just
maybe like a moped.
well, you're not sitting down. It's
Oh,
literally like a scooter from like when you were a kid and you would just push and, glide.
oh,
So,
okay.
yeah, yeah. So, not a moped, but just an electric scooter, exactly what it sounds like. And
Okay.
it's really fun.
Okay.
So, I was thinking I'd take her to do that. And then, yeah, I think there's not that I'm getting into this, but maybe it's my age and my interests are shifting. But a few weeks ago, I went to a place that had ceramics, and we painted ceramics, and you like give it to the people, and they like gloss it and put it in some sort of oven, and now I have this mug that I painted, and it's really ugly, but it was really really fun, and it's kind of it's dear to my heart now because I like painted it, so I'm thinking maybe I'll take her there. So we'll see.
That sounds like something I did in shop class many years ago. The Yeah, I had to create a mug, and it looked like a pair of jeans with a pocket on the back. So
Oh no.
I
Now
put the
let
word.
me be very clear. I did not make the mug. I just painted it. So
Oh yeah, well
yeah, I
it's
literally just painted it. That's it. But it was really fun. So I kind of want to go back.
yeah, it was the same thing. It was a shop class. We just painted them. I put the word pop on there and gave it to my dad.
Oh, nice.
So but yeah, it looked like a Levi's pair of jeans with a little badge on it. I put the word pop where the badge would be. So I
Nice.
I
But
don't know if you're
isn't that fun when you like kind of create something? Well, paint something, and I don't know. It was really nice and it was really relaxing. So I
well,
kind of want to go back.
kind of. I mean, there was a nasty girl that was in the class with me, and she took my cup and she dragged it across the table and scratched it because she just wanted to be a jerk. Um,
Oh well,
that
yeah,
was
no, that's not good.
that was the only that I don't know why I remember that, but she was just one of these nasty people that just decided she didn't like me for some reason. She just grabbed my cup and scratched Greg and gave it back to me. So, but fortunately, I was able to get the scratch out of there. So,
Oh my god. Well,
so
that's traumatizing. But yeah, do you have any plans for this weekend?
no, we were talking about the Memorial Weekend. How
Hmm.
did you phrase that exactly? I know we're going to ask a question soon, but as far as how should people celebrate the holiday? What were you getting at there? I'm sorry, I forgot what you said exactly.
No, you're fine. I think this is something that I feel like gets brought up every Memorial Day weekend because Memorial Day weekend is classically like the kickoff to summer, right? So it's like Memorial Day is on the front end and Labor Day is on the back end. And so usually a lot of people get Friday off. They obviously get the Monday off. It's partying, it's sales. Like whenever I think of Memorial Day, just growing up, I would always think of like Macy's or J.C. Penney, like Memorial Day sale. Like I remember those commercials as a kid. So I always thought Memorial Day was like a holiday, like a festive holiday. But as I got a little bit older, I realized, oh my God, this is a really somber holiday commemorating, lives lost while in the line of duty. Yet we we don't really not what's the word? We don't really commemorate it in that way. Usually people are getting drunk at a pool or on the beach or something like that. So I was wondering if your listeners think that we should regard Memorial Day with more reverence.
Reverence. That's the word I was.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Instead of just like, oh, it's a day off, who cares? People give little to no. I would say most people give little to no thought about what the holiday is really about, and the only people that really do like give it its due diligence are the people that have lost people in the line of duty and gave the ultimate sacrifice. So I don't know. I wonder what what our listeners think about that. If we should celebrate it or in the way that we do currently, or we should, have more respect for the holiday and what it's actually about.
Yeah, my parents are both in the military. I do know my dad said he lost someone that was a friend in the military, but he doesn't. He's very closed when it comes to certain things like that. So all I know is we visited the wall in Vietnam, the Vietnam Memorial Wall in DC one time, and he looked his name up, and he wouldn't tell me anything else. I could tell he was moved by it, but that was about it.
Hmm.
So, but my parents aren't like proud military people. In fact, they don't really like the military. Uh,
Interesting.
so they're not like patriotic, flag waving people like that or anything like that. So my mother does enjoy the benefits of being a veteran, so she can use the VA for her hospitalization costs, so she can cut her costs.
What branches were they in?
The Navy.
Oh,
So
both of them.
yes, that's where they met. Yeah. So
Oh wow.
my dad boasts about the fact that when he was in the Navy, his regiment, I don't know what they called it in the Navy, but what regiment or whatever it was, he was the one that was lucky enough he didn't have to carry the gun, as he put it. He was the one when they did their marching, he was the one that held the flag. So and
Hmm.
my dad and I pretty much, we're not really pro gun people. We're not really anti gun either, but
Hmm.
we're not the kind of people who like to hold guns and brag about it. So I can relate to what he's saying there. Um, but yeah, as far as yeah, the military, it's not that, like I said, they are definitely not like flag waving patriotic people, and they don't go around celebrating Memorial Day by any stretch. But that one instance did stick out when we were talking about what Memorial Day is all about. And I can't. Other than that, though, I can't think of anything else. I mean, I guess I never really think about it that way. So let me go ahead and bring our question up from last week, and then we
Sure.
can post the other one. So here's the question from last week. Of course, I had a big typo in it again. Are you interested in cryptocurrency? I added an extra in there. So 61% said yes, I'm interested. We got the next one down would be 14% no, I did not invest. 13% with I don't care. Yes, with 7% I'm not interested, but I'm interested in doing so. And 6% saying no, and I don't plan on investing. So I don't think it changed very much. It looks like it's about the same. Looks like it.
Mhm.
What do you feel about that?
I think it's great. I think it kind of shows the trend that everybody's moving. It looks like there was an over, well, not, yeah, I mean, 61 is over more than 50% of people say that they're investing or at least paying attention to what's going on. So
That's out of 3,500 votes. So
that's great.
the
I mean, if you add the 7 and the 61, that's 68% of people who are at least kind of following along. So
Mm. I'm still concerned about the fact that because I did a search after that at that last week's show where I typed in is Bitcoin a Ponzi scheme, and there are several videos that come up. Some of them say yes, it is a Ponzi scheme. Others say no, it's not a Ponzi scheme. So
mhm.
that's a concern, obviously. And the concern about what is backing the money is also pretty, a big
It's,
concern.
I looked it up as well, and it just said it was only backed by speculative interest.
And what does
So
that mean? What does that mean?
it just kind of like it's valued as much as other people think it's valued. Like
Okay.
it's not backed by anything, like you
Okay.
said. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we got to look at the answers. The first one was one I think was most appropriate, implying that your half your subscribers even know what investing even means. Actually, I like that. Um, Based on the comments I see in some of the videos, I tend to agree it's probably the most accurate comment that was left there. Um, because of the crypto shit, I have to wait months so I can buy my. I'm sorry, I'm using. I should be putting this on a screen that's closer to me. I'm sorry, I'm putting on the monitor. That's the
That's
first.
okay.
So I can buy my dream GPU. I collected money for the entire year. Fuck cryptocurrencies. So does this say GPU? This is GPU, right? Yeah.
I
Okay.
think so. It's kind of small for me, and I don't have the best eyes, to be honest with you.
Okay. So yeah, that was the other thing is putting the money in and having to wait for it to come back out. So, um, yeah, how would you respond to that though, in general, as far as like having to wait for the money?
I mean, as far as I know, I mean, what is it, like 60 days? I think it depends on what app you use, but I could
You have
be
to wait.
wrong.
You have to wait
But
at least 60 days. You can't just like put it in and like take it out immediately.
I mean, I've I've heard something like that, but I thought it was app specific.
Hmm.
Thought
Okay.
some apps like require 60 days because I think some apps take more money like in the exchange and others don't. And so
Mhm.
there's trade-offs to each one. So, and I think also it depends if you're paying, like if it's attached to your credit card or debit card versus like ACH. I forget what the acronym is, but if it's like directly tied to your bank account, one of them puts a 60-day hold on it. I think your credit card or your debit card is like an immediate, you could take it out, put it in, exchange it, whatever. But I could be wrong. But I actually think that's what it is. I think it's how it's tied to your bank account, if it's credit card or like router accounting number related.
Hmm.
So.
Okay. All right. All right. I like potatoes. Is the next response. Um, what the fuck is cryptocurrency? After that, hold on. There was one I skipped over there. Okay, that's I just did the translation, so I can't. I don't know how to speak it. Apparently it's Persian. The language is Persian. Here's the translation. It says, "Well, tell me a lot about this." Well, okay, well that doesn't really seem to help very much. So,
No.
next one down is just like random characters. Kiss. What's his name? I forget. I can't see his name, but yeah, he's a regular commenter here. I'm only interested in Z Moon coins. Sorry, I don't have any of those yet. Maybe. Um, and I don't think you should be okay. There's not really anything. Next one down. I'm gay. Very proud of you. Let's see. And just a little bit of an argument that ensued afterwards. Poor English. Yes, poor English on that one. And the last one, I don't know what that says either. Let me see if that's. I'll use the old translator again just for the heck of it. Let's see. Probably doesn't say anything. It's probably just worthless. But I'll try it anyway. No, nothing comes up. It says Indonesia. It says registraris or whatever that means. So no, it doesn't mean anything. So
Okay.
okay, so the comments were not some of them were okay. There were definitely some good ones there. Like I said, I like the first one at the top. Well, the last, most recent one that came yesterday. So,
Mhm.
but the rest of them, yeah. Well, the kiss, what's his name, always gives a good one too. So, all right. So, the question is now, how do we word this? Because this sounds a little tricky. How do you want to word this for this week?
I was thinking.
Uh-oh, did I lose you?
Can
Yeah, I hear you now.
you hear me?
I think I lost you for a split second. Are you
Okay,
there?
there we go. Okay, sorry about that. Maybe say something along the lines of, do you think Memorial Day should be celebrated as it is now? Yes, no, I don't care. Um,
I just should now. It's kind of vague though. Do you think it should be celebrated with more reverence, maybe?
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
with more. Okay. Reverence. I don't know how to spell reverence. Yeah. Two words. Hold on a second. Did I spell it right? Well, maybe I did. No. Let's see. Okay, more reverence. More reverence. Do you think one word should be soaps? I left some words out there. Should. Oops. With more reverence. In honoring our military, maybe.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
perfect.
There we go. Okay. Of course, I misspelled military. There we go. Okay. You think Memorial Day should be celebrated with more reverence in honoring our military? Okay.
Perfect.
Yes. No. Let's see. Usual. I don't care. I don't know what Memorial Day is. I'm sure that will be a lot. Is there obviously this is an American holiday, so we'll probably guess. I'm guessing we'll probably get a lot of that. Anything else?
No, that's perfect.
Okay. All right. I'm going to post it, and we'll come back later on to see what kind of response we get. And I'm just kind of curious. What would you say? I'm just curious. I don't think we usually don't ask each other that question.
It's one of those things where I know the right answer. I think it should be, but I enjoy, I have a 4-day weekend, and I'm certainly not going to be sitting, moping or not. I don't want to say moping around, but I'm probably not going to give it the respect it deserves. I'm going to celebrate it like I have a few days off and it's the kickoff to summer. So I do. I feel like it's one of those things where it's like I should want to give it the respect it deserves, but also I enjoy having a good time and having my friends visit and going to the beach, going to parties, stuff like that. So I feel like I'm kind of in the middle.
In
Because
the middle.
do you think it should? Yeah, it should.
Hmm.
But I'm kind of glad it is the way that it is.
No, I'm not a big fan of Memorial Day to Labor Day because that just means more work on my end. I have to business I run. I have to provide more service that are more complimentary than anything else. It's not where I'm making more money or anything. It's just more
Right.
on my end. So, yeah, that's to me Memorial Day is more of a drawback, and then I can't wait till Labor Day because then the things just settle back down a little bit more. So,
Do you celebrate any holidays?
I'll
Like even
celebrate holiday.
Christmas?
I don't. Christmas is for me. It's like a day of the week. I mean, it's not a big deal. But I mean, I'm not anti Christmas. I'm just anti people who come up to me, and this used to happen a lot. they'd say Merry Christmas to me and expect me to say Merry Christmas back. And it's like, well, I don't celebrate your holiday. So it's like they would get angry because I wouldn't say it back. I think that's kind of rude. I mean, I'm just, I don't mind you saying it to me, but don't say it, don't expect me to say it back to you because it's not a big deal. To me, it's just another day of the week. So,
Right. Well, forget about that for a second, but just the holiday itself. Like, do you celebrate it? Do you
oh,
go over to a friend's house or family or?
sometimes. I mean, to me, it's not a big, not too big of a deal. So sometimes I do. It depends on what's going on at the time. Maybe family will say when you come over, and I say, yeah, sure, I guess I'll come over. So
Yeah,
it's not like a big celebration or anything like that.
I gotcha. Or what about like any other holiday, like Thanksgiving or?
Well, Thanksgiving was originally was it the like a Wampanoag tradition that was celebrated, and since I'm a huge one of my huge passions in history is Native American history, so I kind of respect the holiday in a sense because as people there's this misconception that people have that they'll say that Thanksgiving is a negative thing for Native American people, but in actuality, it's the first generation of people that lived in New England that migrated from Europe that lived with Native American people. They got along very peacefully. It was the first generation was very peaceful. It was not until later on that the conflicts arose with King Philip's War and everything. So I look at it as like, well, the original Thanksgiving was more of a positive thing, so than a negative for negative Native American people. So of course, there was the slave trade out of North America that had just occurred, so there was a lot of people that had vanished from the area because they were wrapped up and forced into slavery and dragged over to England. That took place from 1570 to about 1620.
Mhm.
So so there is some aspects that are kind of negative, but that's not really due to Thanksgiving. There was just people having there was peaceful aspects on both sides, so to speak. The people from Europe and the people that were already here had a peaceful time together. So I look at it in that way. So
Well, I'm
I
just
think
asking if you like celebrating,
yeah,
like you.
well, I was leading up to the fact that yes, I do. I do in that sense. I do
Oh, okay,
celebrate it.
cool.
Yeah, not I don't get together with people very much, but yeah, I do celebrate it in that sense because I feel like it's something that's very positive when it happened, and people nowadays some people try
Okay.
to make it seem like it's negative, and it's not, in my opinion. So,
Yeah, I think Thanksgiving is probably my favorite holiday. I really
hmm.
enjoy that.
Do you
Yeah.
get together with family?
Usually, like friends or coworkers, and usually sometimes there's a friendsgiving that I jump onto. But yeah, my dad has a first cousin in Sarasota, which is about an hour south of here. So I'll either go there or I have a coworker, one of my best friends who I used to work with when before I got fired last year, and he and his girl. Well, I don't think they're engaged. Him and his girlfriend are amazing cooks, like just phenomenal in the kitchen, and they just throw down. So usually I'm trying to go to their place just because the food and the company is so good. So, but yeah, I love Thanksgiving. I always have, and it was kind of sad because when I lived in Michigan, I didn't have any family or really any close friends that would even invite me to Thanksgiving, or I was always working because I was in hospitality. I was either bartending or working at a country club or something. So I was always kind of spending Thanksgiving with my coworkers. So it was really, really nice when I moved to Florida and had like I don't want to say a corporate job, but kind of where you get like normal holidays off. So that was really, really, really nice. So yes, I love Thanksgiving.
Hmm. Actually, I don't think I've ever had a job where I have holidays off. Well, I guess really early on in my career. I mean, when I was working as a mechanic, for the first 6 years after I graduated high school, that's all I did was work on cars. So we did have I did have a more of a regular schedule back then. But after
Mm-hmm.
it just I was going to school, working part-time in radio, and then full-time in radio, and then for me anyway, radio is just basically there are no holidays. You just work when they need you to work. So
Mm-hmm.
um yeah, I never experienced that kind of I haven't had a regular schedule since then. So
Really? Yeah, there's something just really nice about having a regular schedule and being off when everybody else is off and just kind of doing normal things. Not that I do normal things, but it is nice to have like Thanksgiving off and 2 weeks for Christmas. That's still pretty novel to me.
wow.
So
Man, 2 weeks. Oh my goodness. I will say this. I take that back. Up until 2008, I was actually I did have vacation time. I forgot about that. I did actually take off time for a while.
Oh, did
Um,
you?
I completely forgot about that. Even though I had the weird schedules all the time. So when I was working at WTOP, they had me working a 5-day shift. I was a full time employee, but I worked Friday through Tuesday. So my
Interesting.
days off were in the middle of the week, so it was kind of strange. But then I wasn't getting paid a huge amount of money, so I had to work another job on one of those days. So I ended up only having 1 day off. So the but yeah, it's I'm getting off on that a little bit. But anyway, the as far as the holidays, what other are there any other holidays that you celebrate?
That's pretty much it. I mean, I don't really celebrate Christmas. Like, I'll go over for Christmas dinner somewhere.
Hmm.
But I mean, I was raised Jewish, so I would celebrate those holidays. But haven't in many, many years, and that's totally fine with me. I kind of just like the cultural aspect of the holidays, obviously, of any holiday. I just like getting together, gathering with friends or family, and just and breaking bread, and I really enjoy that. And just being relaxed, and usually you'll have at least a long weekend, maybe a few weeks off. So yeah, that's just really nice.
That's cool. It's always good to be close with your family. The
Hmm.
I would assume I guess the other holidays aren't really family oriented so much. I mean, well, I guess the Memorial Day one could be people get together usually to get like cookouts and things like that. That's kind of a
Yeah,
family.
barbecue. Well, again, I don't have any family here really, so I'm usually just kind of hanging with friends. I mean, I have friends that are like extremely close to me now that I consider pretty much family. So, I'll do stuff with them, but yeah, it's great. I'm really excited because the girl that's visiting me this weekend, we've known each other since we were 4 years old.
Mm.
So, oh my God, this year we've known each other for 30 years. That's crazy. But I mean, I've known her longer than my own sister. So we're pretty much like it feels like we're siblings, and we're only 6 weeks apart, and we we're like similar height, similar body type. Like we're kind of like, not that we look the same, but we're both kind of ethnic looking. So, sometimes people would think we were actually related, but we're not. But she's always she's I've never met anyone in my life who can party like she can, but doesn't drink. It's almost kind of freaky because she'll be completely sober and she'll just be like getting buck wild, and she loves to dance and stuff. So you'll think she's on cocaine or something, but she's just high on life. So it's kind of strange.
Would she be okay with you? I guess she would because she's your friend. I wonder if she'd be okay with you saying that about her.
Oh no, I tell her all the time. I'm just like, I've never seen anyone be so amped and so hype and totally sober. She may have like a drink, but she's never touched a drug in her life. She maybe smoked like took one hit of like a joint one time in her life. Like doesn't do anything. No psychedelics, nothing like that. No cocaine, nothing like that. But is just has more energy, and you literally think she's on drugs, but she's just not on anything. So yeah, it's strange, but it
So,
works.
so is this friend of yours? Would you consider her family then?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I know her parents or grandparents. She knows my parents. We grew up together. I mean, we were in the same grade and we danced together. My mom owned a dance studio, so we were both taking dance classes our whole life. And yeah, elementary, middle, and high school, we were best friends. I mean, I still consider her my longest and best friend. It's pretty crazy to have like someone who is a reference point for literally every point in your life. I'm like, oh, remember when we were in like 8 and this happened? She's like, yeah. Like, hey, remember when we were in like ninth grade and this happened? She's like, yeah. Remember 7th? Like, it's just really, really kind of crazy that because most people don't have friends from childhood that they're still very close to.
Mhm.
So it's
Well,
really
I don't mean to interrupt you, but yes, I can say that I can relate to what you're saying. So
oh, awesome. I think that's really, really cool.
you saw the video that I showed you of me. What was that? 2 weeks ago, whenever that was.
Mm-hmm.
You saw Trevor in the background talking, yapping away. Trevor and I
Mm-hmm.
friends since we were 10 years old. So
That's awesome.
I can relate this. It is pretty cool to have, it's really cool that you and your friend are like that as well. So that's probably
Yeah,
neat.
and after all these years, you still have enough in common to be good friends.
Mhm. I will say though, the fact that I'm running my business probably separated me from doing more things that we used to do together. So, but
Where does
yeah,
he live? Does he live close to you?
he's probably about a good hour, maybe 2 hours away from me. So he lives.
When was the last time you saw him?
He came down to visit probably about 2013, I think. So it's been
That
a
was the
while.
last time you saw him?
Yeah. We talk a lot through email and but that's
Well,
about
that's
it. Like,
email. That's not like hanging out.
wait, no, but no, but we're still, he's still family. So it's like,
You
it's
should go
not,
visit him.
I guess, yeah. It's,
Or he should come visit. Does he have a family? Is he like occupied?
well, yeah. Well, when you're talking about closeness and family, his parents are both dead, but when his mother died in 1996, I was there, part of his, I was I was one of the pallbearers, I think. Or what is his dad? His dad died in 2014 or 2000. I'm sorry, 2004. So I went to both the funerals. So I was the pallbearer in one of those. That's how close we are. So, um,
Does he have any children? I mean,
oh, him? No, no, no. He's no family.
and he's not married or anything.
No, not married. No. So
But so you guys haven't. I'm really concerned because if that's like your best bud and you haven't seen him in 8 years, that's crazy. And he's not even far. He's only like an hour or 2 hours away.
yeah, but we're just. I mean, we've gotten older. We're so swamped with work and everything. It's not like
For
we don't.
8 years? I'm almost mad at you. I feel like you need to call him tomorrow and be like, "Yo, let's get together."
I I guess. It's
So would you like to see him? Wouldn't you like to just
oh
see
yeah,
him?
it's cool. Yeah, I'd like to see him. It's been a while. I
Well,
mean,
I think you should do it.
I have seen him technically. He sent me we email and he sends me videos of what he does. Like he got a license to fly drones in the area. So he showed me a video of himself flying and the drone came down. I could see
That
him.
is so not even close to hanging out. That is not like even that's not even a FaceTime conversation. Like that is just here's a video of me flying. You to take this as an opportunity to reach out to him and like get together within the next couple months. Cause I feel like you don't want life to pass you by and you realize you haven't seen your best bud in like a decade. That's crazy.
But we're still in communication though. I mean, it's not like we're cut each other off. We talk on a regular basis through emails. I know it's when instant, remember AOL Instant Messenger? Um,
Yes.
we used that up until the last day it ended, and we were constantly talking through that more than we were through email. So every day we were constantly talking to each other. And when that went away, we just switched over to email. That's all. So it's not like we've dropped and gone away or anything. We still keep in contact. It's just it's
I understand that, but like I think that there's an element of just interaction that you're not going to get through email. You know,
I
that you need when you like see somebody and like hang out with them and you can like look at their face or give them a hug or whatever. Like there's it's just a completely different experience. But I'm really into like making sure that your brain is nourished in every way possible, and that includes human interaction. I'm like big on that. Um, I feel like I look at a lot of studies that show that that's your brain needs that. We're evolved to crave that, and if we don't get that, it's literally unhealthy for your brain. So I don't know. I'm just a big fan of like fucking you haven't talked to somebody, call them, see how they're doing, like get back in contact with them and hang out because I feel like you're gonna find it to be a really rich, memorable experience. Like, oh yeah, why don't and you're gonna love it. You're gonna like see him and be like have all this stuff to catch up on and be like, dude, let's do this more often.
there's nothing to catch up on because we're always catching up on email already. We're just see each other and say hi. We just haven't seen each other for a while. So it's a little. I know it'd be different if we didn't communicate at all. We'd be like catching up, but no, there wouldn't be really be any catching up because
All
everything.
right, so not catching up, but it would just be a different experience. You guys could go do something. Yeah. Do you like fishing? Do you
No,
fish?
no, I never fished.
Do you like hiking? Do you? It seems like you live in like a pretty wooded area. Like maybe you can go for like a hike or
well,
do something out of the ordinary.
what we used to do. Let's see. You might laugh at what I like to do, but we're both we both like computers. Him more than I do. So he's an IT specialist. So And so his big thing was, let's go down to the local computer show and look at computer parts to buy. And I did it once and it was like really boring because that's like I don't really care. My big thing, like I said, you'll laugh at what I like to do, but since I like cars, and there's a lot of other people like to do this as well. I love to go to automobile junkyards and look for parts for cars. And it's especially when I go to an old junkyard where there's cars that date back to, way back even before I was born, because you get to see all these old cars, even though they're not running or anything like that. It's really cool to see all these cars in one real small area. Well, actually, the closest one now has a large area. So there's most of the junkyards that have older cars are disappearing. Obviously, they're just newer cars nowadays. But uh, we went to a junkyard because we were looking for parts for our car or something. I forget, but that's fun for me. And so he didn't really care for that. I didn't really care for going to the computer show. So, and so we have differences, but that doesn't mean we don't have things we don't like to do. When we were younger,
Well,
we
I mean, at the very least, he could come out, hang out. You guys can talk or whatever, and then you can go out for dinner. Like everybody likes food, right? Like you don't have to go to a convention or anything. It can just be like when my friends come hang out, it's often just like, yeah, we'll hang out at the house, watch TV together, maybe talk and stuff, and then maybe go for a walk, go, do something outside, and then go get a meal and call it a day. I
yeah.
think that you'd really like it. That's all I'm saying. I just think it's sad that you haven't seen your best friend in person in like 8 years.
Well, we haven't seen other family members even longer than that, to be honest. But
I mean, yeah, I find that sad too. But and especially because he's not that far.
yeah,
Like
relatively speaking, yeah. So
yeah.
I do
So,
know when I left Clear Channel, I spent like a day out of his place one time for some reason. I don't remember why. Uh, where he lives is Winchester, Virginia, which is very close, not too far from the West Virginia state line. So you walk out of the house he's living in, and there's a huge mountain like right in front of your view. It's like really awesome looking. So um
do either one of you like any outdoor activities?
um like car shows, I guess, but not really.
You're not
Uh
like into like hikes or anything?
oh, that kind of activity. Oh, I see what you're saying. No, we went canoeing once.
That's awesome.
We fell into a lake, and
Yeah, and it's like it's summertime.
we had to be rescued. So, uh,
Okay, maybe not that then. I don't know. I don't
I
know. I just feel like you live in a pretty like picturesque area, it seems. Um, like with mountains and lakes and
well,
stuff. And that'd be
he lives in the
cool.
mountains. He lives in the mountains. I live further west where it's more swampy. So there's not very
Uh,
many where I live. So, but yeah, the I mean, I don't know. It is where he lives is very nice though. It's very rural. I did take one of my Falcons out there one time and we drove around. Of course, we were driving up really fast up and down the roads, which is, not safe, but it was fun. And his nephews were having fun in there because it's fun to drive people in the car where the steering wheel's on the right and they're sitting in what would be normally considered the driver's seat, and they freaks them out while we're driving down the road.
oh
So
yeah. Yeah. Well, I think that yeah, you guys should get together or at least
that's
plan something. I think that or meet halfway and eat somewhere and I don't know. I just think that you both would really take a lot out of it because I mean I can't imagine not seeing my best friend in 8 years, even though we talk. So
yeah. I guess I guess basically I've devoted myself to this business too much, I guess. So maybe that's my fault. So
yeah, I kind of want to break you out and I mean I don't know about you, but this has been on my mind lately a lot. But and I think it with every subsequent year, I think it increases. But I feel like this year more so just because I mean 34 is like yeah, I'm deep in my 30s. Like I'm 6 years away from 40. Like that's kind of crazy to me. I still think of myself as like a little kid, but I just think that life, um, it's going really fast. You know, I mean, I'm sure you can attest to this as well, where it's like I I like can't believe it's been like for example like certain landmarks in my mind. Like I can't believe it's been a year that I've worked with Bubba, because it seems like I was just working at the Bone and got fired, and then now it's been a year, and then it's like I remember when I turned 33, and now I'm 34, and now it's summer again, and I felt like I was just home in California for Christmas, and that was like almost 6 months ago. So time is just moving like quicker and quicker the older I get. I'm sure you feel the same way. And it's time that we won't get back. And I want to really make sure that I'm like spending time and allocating time to the things that really matter. And I used to be, and still am, very like career focused, don't get me wrong, but I also like will really make sure to make time for the people that are close to me. I really want to nourish those relationships, because I think at the end of the day, more than anything, it's like the people that you surround yourself with, in who are in your community or in your orbit, that is the most important thing. But that's just me, you know.
Well, that's it's very nice. Yeah, I agree. I guess I don't know. I just have to figure out how to do that, I guess. The I've been bogged down with this for a little while now, and then so I just have to figure out how to break away from some of the things I'm doing. The business I run is a 7-day operation, and it's almost a 24/7 operation. Not quite, but almost there. So my work day starts at about 4:10 in the morning, and it basically lasts until about 2 o'clock the following morning. So, and that's Monday through Friday.
And
And
when do
then
you sleep?
I take naps. I'm able to take a 3-hour nap in the middle of the day, and I can take a
Oh,
several 1-hour naps during the overnight. So, and then on the weekends I get a little bit more time off. I work my work day doesn't start till 8 a.m. until and then that's 8 a.m. until 2 o'clock the following morning. So I get what, about 6 hours off. So yeah, I think I'm a little too dedicated to or too. I'm not really. Yeah, anyway, you're right. I need some time off, and I got to figure out how to do that. So, and then if
yeah, that's insane. I mean, it sounds like I mean, when you're not attached to the computer, it seems like you have to be sleeping, obviously, which doesn't leave any room for any sort of uh, relationships outside of work, it seems like, which for me is, like, work is fun and I fucking love what I do. I say it every day. I'm so lucky. But at the end of the day, like, I need to make sure I'm working out most days. I need to make sure I'm getting some sun most days. I need to make sure that, I'm either, calling a family member, calling a friend, seeing how they're doing, like making arrangements to hang out with people on the weekend, or, whatever the case may be, because like those are the thing like those are the things I'm gonna remember, and the things I really value. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sure, like with work, it's just kind of like, is it kind of like Groundhog's Day? You know, where it's
what do you
just kind of
mean?
the same thing day in day out, right?
What do you mean by Groundhog Day? What do you mean by that exactly?
I'm
I'm
referencing the movie with Bill
movie. Okay,
Murray.
okay, okay. I wasn't sure what you meant. Okay, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
There's another movie that's similar to that called 12:01 p.m., which I would highly recommend, which touches on the same thing, which came out before that, by the way. Anyway, no, actually, no. No, because every day is just every day there is a lot of repetition, but I have to deal with a lot of people on a regular basis, and there's a lot of things that have to be dealt with. There's no there when you run a business, I'm sure a lot of people can attest to this. You never catch up. There's no way to ever catch up. You think you're catching up, and you never do. It's just always you're just if you let it fall behind a little bit, you're going to be behind. You'll be well behind, and it's never a good idea to even let it get a little bit behind. So right now I'm 2 weeks ahead of everything I need to get done. So on most things, and that's the
That's
way I like
great.
to keep.
But like, I just, again, live your life. I'm just telling you that I
Yeah.
think that most people at least put some sort of emphasis on, personal relationships, whether that be family, friends, whatever, coworkers or something. But I just think that I think that that's what makes people happy, and like making memories with other people. And I remember having a moment when I was overseas. It was like one day where I was by myself. Like, I was leaving one friend group and meeting up with another, and I was in like Thailand or something. And you could have the most amazing view and have the most amazing meal, and you're like in the most amazing place. You're in this really exotic place, but that one day that I was alone, I was like, I don't like this at all. Like, because I felt like I didn't have anybody to share it with. Like my friends weren't there, and I was just there by myself. And it was also kind of scary because I felt like it probably wasn't the safest thing to be traveling alone as a chick in Thailand. But it was just literally 1 or 2 days. Like, it wasn't a lot, but I was like, man, this is really awful. Like, just, and it seems like not a waste, but like you see this amazing place and you want to be like, turn to someone and be like, isn't this cool? And there's nobody there. And you're just like, oh shit. And I also have this distinct memory of thinking that I remember I was trying to make arrangements with the next person I was going to meet up with. And I was contemplating actually like waiting for him for like 10 days because he wanted to go to Laos. I forget what the plan was, but I was contemplating just being by myself for 10 days. And I remember I went to this like internet, I forget what they call it, like an internet cafe. That's what they called it, internet cafe. And this girl, I think she was from the UK or something. And I was overhearing her conversation and she was crying. And she was like, I hate being alone. I just feel like I have no one to share it with. And, and she was just I think she went on like a eat, pray, love sort of, find yourself, a journey, I think, and she went by herself and regretted going alone. And I was listening to her and she convinced me. I didn't even speak to her, I didn't look at her. It was literally a conversation I was not a part of at all. And I just remember listening to her and she was crying and she was just like, I just feel like I have no one to share this with. I like want to come home or something. And I just went, holy fuck, this bitch is like, she is right 100%. And like, I literally was emailing my buddy like, hey, maybe I'll meet you up in 10 days. To the next email was like, where are you? I'm coming to get you. I'm coming to find you. So I had to go on like a fucking, oh my God, I had to take like a boat to a bus, to another boat, to another bus, to a little boat, like, because he was on some fucking obscure island in Thailand. And I found him. So it was all good. But it did take like probably about 12 hours of traveling to get there, to get where he was. But I was just like, God, that girl was right on the money. Like, I'd rather, travel and put myself through all this havoc so that I could have a buddy for the next, 10 days instead of just being alone. So, but anyways.
Yeah, I agree. I can't imagine actually going anywhere that far away without going with someone in the first place. That seems kind of interesting that you would do that. So,
I didn't though. I originally went with a group of girls and then they kind of disappeared because I mean I was there for 3 months, so not everybody can stay for 3 months. And one of the girls wanted to go to China, but she was Canadian, so it was easy for her. For me, it was like a big fucking, and I didn't want to go to China. I'm like, fuck China. So she went to China and like the group kind of started pairing off, like, splintering off. And then the other girl ended up getting like some fucking virus, and her sister had to fly out from the UK, and that was a whole, who done it. So it was kind of like this weird thing where I was recruiting people from like the States to come out, and they were on their own adventure. So I was like, tagging on with them. So it was just a kind of crazy, but thankfully I was only alone, I think, for one night, maybe
oh,
two.
oh,
Yeah.
I thought it was for 10 days. Okay.
No. I was contemplating doing the 10 days by myself, like waiting for my friend to meet up, like, so he would be closer to me and I could like meet him.
I see.
But I decided when I heard that girl in the internet cafe, I was just like, I can't be alone for 10 days. She's crying. She hates it. I'm like, oh, I'm leaving tomorrow. So the next morning I got up at like 6 in the morning and, traveled for 12 hours to go to see whatever island he was on. So it worked out.
The as far as your did you think of going up to her and just introducing yourself and saying, hey, you're not alone. I'm here with you, and we can be
Oh,
friends
it's
or something.
that chick.
Yeah.
Well, it sounded like she was talking to her mother, and I was just kind of overhearing her. It sounded like she didn't really want to be bothered. I maybe should have said something, but I don't remember the conversation ending. Like, I remember she got off the phone and walked out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, it wasn't like she was sobbing by herself. I mean, I'm pretty certain I would have said something at that point, but I just remember her saying that she did not enjoy traveling alone, and that you can be in the most beautiful place, but if you don't have anybody with you, it feels empty. And I was like, holy, like, it was just the conversation I needed to hear. um so it was, I'm glad I was there for that, because I would have regretted being alone by myself for a week and a half, especially in a place where you know, it's a foreign country. It's people are probably going to try to take advantage of you. There's petty crime, but you know, it's scary. You need at least a buddy. You know, that's just safer. So,
I've never been to another country. I've only been to other states. So I wouldn't be able to relate, I guess. Um, I mean,
do
how
you
many?
want to go?
I've thought about it. I can't think of where I'd want to go though exactly. What would you recommend?
um, I mean, where would I recommend? I mean anywhere. I mean anywhere you're gonna get like a unique cultural experience. You know. You haven't even been to like the Bahamas or something or like
That's well, if that's outside the United States, no, obviously.
yeah. I don't know. I was thinking like I don't know. Maybe you went to Guam or something. Puerto Rico.
No.
Um.
I can tell you where I've been. I drove. Trevor and I, we went on a road trip that was from Virginia down to Florida, and then we took I-10 west and drove all the way to California, and we drove back on along I-40 back to Virginia. So that's the longest I've ever been away. We went to the Queen Mary, and that's where we turned around. He grabbed a bottle of the Pacific Ocean to take back with him as a souvenir, and
Mhm,
of course, it doesn't really matter, of course, but it's just for fun. And then we
mhm,
drove all the way back. My souvenir was Texas Cola, which I've never been able to find ever since. But we stopped at a supermarket in Texas, and we went to there was a Texas Cola, and I was like, never saw it again. And then I ended up drinking it, and I lost it anyway, so I lost my souvenir. But the that's the furthest north I've been is probably New York City. Oh, I've been to Massachusetts, so I forgot about that. So I've been further up though. So that's about it. That's the extent of my traveling. So,
that's crazy. And do you want to see other places? And
about 10 years ago, I don't want to get too with the I'm sure a lot of people realize at one point in time they're going to die, and you realize, oh my goodness, what have I done with my life, kind of a thing. I went through an experience like that about 10 years ago, a little bit more than that. And I'm thinking to myself, maybe I should go explore the world and see different places. And before that happens, because the only, it's and I I never and I thought about it for a while, and then I just kind of forgot about it. So that was the only time I really ever thought about going to different places. Um, and honestly, I just can't think. I mean, maybe Australia. I don't know. But only because I've got two cars from Australia. I never actually went there. The people actually went there and picked them up for me and brought them back. So I think it'd be kind of cool to go down there and actually see
how did they
the
bring cars back? Like on a cargo ship?
yeah, cargo ship, big cargo ship. They have big containers. You've seen them. The big, I'm sure
Yeah,
you've seen
yeah.
big containers. Uh, well, what's kind of funny that you bring that up is when those cargo ships tip over, what happens is the cargo that's in them, they just when I mean tip over, I mean they not like they sink, but when there's waves, there's rocky waters and everything. The cargo ones that are at the top that fall off, they just let them in the water and they just keep on going. They don't try to fish them back out. So at
Whoa.
least that's what I was told anyway. And there's a problem with like people riding smaller boats in areas where they hit them because they're still just below the water surface and you can't see them. So I remember that very much so because one of the people who was helping me get my cars, one of them said that he was going to try to make sure to get a cargo container where the car was going to be at the bottom and not at the top, so it wouldn't fall into the water.
Oh my God.
So that
That's
was
crazy though. I think you should. I mean, if again, obviously you can't. I mean, if you can't make like an hour or two drive, you know, you probably don't have time to go on like a vacation or something. But
well, I can make
I
an hour.
think,
I can make time for that. I mean, it's as far as I mean, it's local. I've run my business remotely before, so it's not impossible. I just have to be
yeah,
I have to
yeah.
be
But I mean, like to take a real vacation and kind of get away for like a week or something and go explore something new. I think that that's. I mean, I think that's beneficial to everybody. I would recommend traveling to everybody just to kind of give you. Not that I'm some like globe trotter, but I've been a few places, and I just think that if anything, it gives you an appreciation for what you have. Oftentimes, especially when you go to poor countries and stuff like that, and you're like I went when I was in Southeast Asia. I mean, that was a fucking culture shock. And towards the end, I was certainly ready to come home because it was like 3 months of, packing up, moving, packing up, getting on a bus, packing up, getting on a train. It was just like enough already. But I mean, I definitely, I mean, the things I saw, the people I met, the experiences I had, I mean, just completely, I'll never forget. It was just awesome, and just and just even in conversation when you can bring it up and talk about it, and I just But again, this is something like I intrinsically value. Like, it's not valuable. It's like crypto. It's only as valuable as people make it out to be. You know what I mean? It's not like it's backed by anything. It's not like I made money. It's not anything. It's just that I like experiencing new things and trying new things, and it was just really exciting to be kind of on an adventure. And I'm really, really, really fortunate that I did it when I did. I was 22, 23, so I didn't have that pressure of like, what am I going to do with my life yet. I was straight out of college, just kind of like, I'm supposed to party, I'm supposed to be young, I'm supposed to kind of go crazy. So it was the perfect time just to kind of fuck off and go to a different country and just kind of explore. Yeah. And it gives you a lot of self confidence too when you do that, especially by yourself, because you're like, oh, I can make it work by myself with no friends. So yeah.
We got a display name. Left a comment saying traveling sounds like an awesome idea for you, Zoom. Obviously talking to me.
Yes, do it if
The
you can. I mean, some people, can't afford it, or what, they have kids or whatever, but I mean, if you have the opportunity, like, definitely do it.
Mhm. Well, I did enjoy traveling across the country, but then again, that was driving, and by the time we got back, it was kind of that driving straight. I don't know if you've driven for that longer period of time. That can be really annoying after a while. So I'm sure you were doing a lot of flying. Did you do a lot of driving too?
No, I mean, when I went to I lived in Australia for over a year, so I mean, I like posted up shop. Like, I found a place to live, and I found a job and lived there. And then when I was traveling in Southeast Asia, I mean, I just pretty much had a backpack, and if we liked a place, we might stay there for 5 days. If we didn't like a place, we were out the next day. And we had like a Lonely Planet book, and that was just kind of like, would tell you, what's cool to do in each city. And it's also really important, like, who you travel with, because some people talked about like just nightmares of traveling with someone who just didn't have an adventurous spirit, was complaining all the time, like didn't want to do anything, wanted to just like sit and watch TV. It's like, hello, I'm in this new country, I want to go experience some shit. So I traveled with like my main squeeze, let's say, because there was like four of us girls, but I had a main squeeze. She was fucking awesome, and she had done quite a bit of traveling, and she was just like, we'd wake up every day, we'd have breakfast, we'd be like, all right, what's the game plan, what are we gonna do, and we would just either buy a ticket to something, or go explore, or go to a temple, or whatever the fuck we did. We just we just wanted to see some shit. And so that was just the coolest thing. We had no reservations. We were so crazy, we had no idea how long we were going to stay. We bought a one-way ticket to um, Phuket from
Okay,
Sydney,
where's that?
and it's just a city in Thailand.
Okay.
And we bought a one-way ticket, and we were just like, we'll just figure it out. We didn't even have like a hotel or a motel or any sort of reservation for the night that we arrived. Like, we did not know where we were going to sleep each night, and we did
Hmm.
that for 3 months. It was crazy. We would just like walk around and be like, oh, because tourism is so big over there that you walk around, they have things called like guest houses and stuff, which is basically like a I don't want to, a motel seems weird because they weren't like constructed like a motel, but whatever, just like a place to stay, like that had rooms. And we would just like, whatever, have a bungalow for a night or two and move on. But it was awesome. We had no, my mom's like, where are you staying, the night you arrived? We're like, we don't know, we'll figure it out. My mom's like, oh my god, like, what the hell.
Mhm.
But that was really the way to go, because it was just kind of gives you this heightened sense of adventure, and like, oh shit, what if we don't find something, we'll just have to party all night and figure it out. So it was cool.
Or
Yeah.
sleep in a park somewhere.
I slept outside one night like a homeless person, not gonna lie. But I mean, that's part of the adventure of being kind of just crazy and young and wanting to experience new stuff. But I mean, that's I mean, those are memories I really treasure, because it was such an adventurous trip, and also it was just at the right time. It wasn't like I was doing it in my 40s or something. It was just like I was young. It was like the time to do it. I didn't feel like too, you know what I mean? Sometimes I feel like too old to do stuff now. I didn't feel like that at all. Obviously, as like a 23-year-old, you're like, fuck yeah, I mean, I'm young as shit. Let's party.
Well,
So
actually, I never felt like something was too old to do anything, to be honest. It's just whether or not I have the time or availability to do something. That's the main thing. So,
that's really good. I sometimes get in my head about that, and I'm really trying not to be that way because I agree with you. You shouldn't restrict yourself, but I'll be honest. Like sometimes if I go to certain places, like usually clubs or bars, I do feel insecure if like the mean age is like 10 years younger than me. I just
oh,
feel kind of like out of place sometimes. And I hate that I feel that way. And I won't leave or anything, but I'll just be very aware that like everybody here is probably in the ballpark of like 21 to 24, and I'm 34, and I feel just a little odd.
oh,
So I wish I didn't feel that way. I'm working on it because I'm only getting older. So like I'm really trying not to be that way. But it's on my mind sometimes.
do you like the clubs? I'm just curious. Why do you go to the clubs? So, is that a regular thing? It sounds like it is.
No, it's not. The last time I went to a club was for my roommate's 30th birthday and she wanted to go. So, I go. But to be honest, no, I don't really like going to club. I mean, it was like a bar club, it wasn't like a crazy oons oons thing. I mean, it was like a restaurant that kind of turned into a bar club at night. Um, I don't. I used to love clubbing so much, and now, I mean, I have to do it very infrequently. I used to love like really getting dressed up, like to the nines and wearing heels, and now I can't bear to get out of tennis shoes. Like I refuse to get out of like like I have like Toms. I don't know if you know what those are, but they're like slip on shoes. Like
Yeah.
so like I just you can't really roll up to like a legit club with tennis shoes. So I don't go to the clubs anymore. But I don't mind if there's like a DJ and some music and it's kind of like a cool vibe. Like that's okay. But to be honest, it's really not. I'm getting older, so I don't like you'll see me at a club. I mean, I'd be happy to go once every 6 months. That'd be fine. But like, I really don't need anything more than that.
I guess last time I went to a club was with some coworkers about probably about 15 years ago. I used to the only clubs back when I was much younger. I had a friend. His name was Derek Williams. His radio name was Chili D. One of the first people I ever met when I started at radio. And Chili D and he wanted to start his own TV show, so we got together and he got well. This is before when cameras were huge and they weighed. Literally, I'm not joking, like several dozen pounds. And you had to put them on your shoulder and carry them around. We'd take these huge cameras around because he wanted to start his own TV show. We went to and because he was a club DJ and a radio DJ, so he wanted to make a show that was about clubs. So we went around to different clubs and
Mm-hmm.
we would sit there. We record the DJ mixing the music, and then afterwards we interview the people. It's quite interesting. So that was probably the most time I ever spent in a club, or I should say a series of clubs. Occasionally I go with friends, but it got kind of boring. So that wasn't too exciting for me for the most part. But there was those we went to like every club you can think of in DC when we did that. That was actually kind of fun though. I mean, we weren't dancing. We were really there to do work, but it was just fun to see it, the whole thing. The thing I didn't like was loud music. I can't stand when we're constantly screaming at each other when we're trying to say something.
Yeah. Clubs are not for having conversations. So yeah, if you're like on a date or something, like I'll never go to I won't even go to a place with loud music just for that reason because you're screaming at each other and you're like inches away. So, but yeah, I'm not really into the club scene anymore. But yeah, I did go because it was my roommate's like one of my best friends here, so I made sure I was there for her birthday. But other than that,
Yeah. Well,
no thanks to clubs.
let's go back to our question. See what
Okay.
hold on a second. Okay, there we go. 131 votes so far. 84% saying yes. that Memorial Day should be celebrated with more reverence to in honoring our military. The next one down, which is what I thought would be a probably pretty high, not as high as I thought it would be, was I don't know what Memorial Day is. It's 7%. The After that, we got 6% I don't care, and 3% said no. So your response was you were kind of like in the middle. So yours, we I guess we could have put another response in there. Too late to do that now. So, yeah. So how do you feel about that?
I mean, that's kind of what I expect. I feel like the people, the 80, did that say 84? 84%. I mean, they say yes, but like at the end of the day, I think everybody is more than happy to like, they'd much rather go to a barbecue than like a funeral procession, or you know what I mean? It's like one of those things where you probably should have more reverence for it, but like you're just kind of happy to enjoy the holiday.
Yeah,
Even
I
if
don't.
you're
I don't really think about what the day is about myself. So, holidays for me are usually in general, it's like I know that the post office is going to be shut down. That means no mail delivery, and packages usually don't get delivered. So it's like I have to wait an extra day for something because I'm constantly ordering something for the business. So that kind of ties me down. So you're right. I don't think about Memorial Day at all, to be honest. I don't even think about what it's about. So I don't think I could answer the question. Um, Carl Johnson says, first comment and like, I have the power, add 20% to an option. Okay. And the more on there. Let's see. No, nothing really relevant here. No, nope, nothing here. Sorry. No,
right.
none of these comments are really, really good. So we can come back to this next week and explore this. I guess we can go ahead and wrap everything up. So did you have anything else you wanted to say?
Reach out to Trevor and organize time to hang out with him.
Okay.
That's all.
I'll let him know that you suggested that. So,
Okay.
Trevor was I know for a while was a fan of Bubba the Love Sponge. I don't know if he still is. So I don't know if he listens
Mhm.
anymore. Probably not. But okay, I'll see what I can do do about that. And if I do,
Yeah, do that. At least reach out to him and see what he says about it, because I'm sure he'd love the idea.
uh he'd probably say he's just busy like I am. And he'll probably but I mean, yeah, I can see what happens. So I'll get back to you. I'll see what and
All right,
okay,
yeah. Get back to
I'll
me.
let you know. So all right. Well, that was episode number 8 of the Anna Hummel Factor, and the we got display name saying that was a good episode. Thank you, display name, and we'll see you next time or next week. All right. Let me go ahead. Hold on a second here.